In this session, we're going to talk about trusting the process. You will hear those terms quite often in this series and probably from your own therapist. So trust the process. Everything's a process. Again, it's not linear. It's those up and down things. So I want to kind of use today the metaphor of agriculture and plowing a field to kind of give you an idea what therapy is going to be like for you. So imagine yourself wanting to plant a seed. And in order to do the seed, you can't just throw seeds on the ground, right? So you have to start with a plot of land. And so the farmer comes and he looks at this plot of land, and if, for the most part, if it hasn't been tended to, it's a rough, hard, dry, difficult plot of land. Kind of like the way we are when we first come into counseling. It's rough, we don't have a lot of tools, we have built up this crust, this protection of fear or anger or distrust. And so in order to get this process going so we can make these changes, we're going to have to penetrate that hard crust, which is, it hurts. Just like you've got this soil. So the farmer comes in, he investigates what's going on, and he says, okay, I'm gonna need something bigger to help me with this. So he's likely to go get a tractor. Now in the olden days, they might have had a shovel, and you can do that one shovel at a time, but it's gonna take a long time. So he has to enlist the help of something bigger. So maybe oxens, maybe the plow, or maybe today they use this huge tractor. It's the same thing you're gonna need. You can't do this alone. You need the help of something bigger or something that has the tools right now that you may not possess yet. So either the therapist or your pastor or a supportive friend or something, but you can't do this alone. Okay, we get into the piece of land. The farmer comes and he takes his tractor and he's starting to dig up clods of dirt. And we get the field done. The tractor's done its job, so we call that plowing. Same thing for you when you come into counseling. You're going to come into counseling and we're going to dig deep. We're going to start penetrating that initial surface, and it's going to hurt because you're going to have to start talking about these uncomfortable things that you've buried for a long time, or we're going to dig. So take a few months, and we have done this process of digging a little bit, and the next stage is for the farmer is called harrowing. The tractors come in, you've got these plods of dirt, and you've got this huge piece of dirt that needs to be crumpled up because still a seed is not going to penetrate those clods. So he comes in and does this harrowing, and the machine comes in and breaks up these clods of dirt, kind of like what we're going to do with you. We have uncovered, we've penetrated the surface, and now it's going to really hurt because we're going to take those things, and you're going to have to go through this process of the harrowing or the sifting of the good stuff and the bad stuff, so we can get to a place where a seed can be planted. So now we're into a couple of months, and this is if someone's being consistent and willing and doing it on purpose, much like the farmer does. Okay, so we've done the harrowing, and we've taken the plot of dirt, and it's sifted through now, and we've got this wonderful piece of land that is now ready to receive the seed. Much like you, maybe 6 to 9 months into this process, we've cleared it so now we can start putting new good stuff in. The farmer comes in, he takes his big tractor, he starts putting down seeds, he starts nurturing the seed with water, with sun, with care, with nurturing, much like we're going to do with you. And then within a few months, you start seeing a little bit of harvest, you start seeing growth, and the field now looks like these little buds of new developed thinking and green and maybe little white flowers, and you start feeling a little bit of joy and such because you've done this hard work so far and you've invested this time and yourself into this process. So we've got this beautiful land that now you can see progress and you can see really wonderful things happening. And then finally, after a few months, the harvest occurs. And so we've got this beautiful land that now you can see progress and you can see really wonderful things happening. And then finally, after a few months, the harvest occurs and things are growing and the corn's there and the tomatoes are growing and it's a beautiful cotton field or whatever, much like you. And within counseling, we say this is like a good 9 to 18 months for you to get some real relief. That doesn't mean you're done, because there's always something else to process, but you have made huge efforts and there's a harvest now and there's a celebration of things that you can now be a part of. And this has been a process that you have trusted others to guide you through, which is what you came in initially and asked for. I want clarity. Through this process, you're gaining clarity, you're being taught the things that you need to learn in order to make changes. And even though it's not certain that things are going to happen the way you imagined it to be, things have changed and there's quality of life happening and people are recognizing it and your character is now growing. So I want you to trust this process. I want you to go through what's necessary in order for you to get this harvest. What are you willing to do to hang in there for the months or years that it takes for you to improve your quality of life? What's going to get in your way? What are the things that you can do that help you, that bring you joy? Maybe going to the beach, maybe reading a particular article or book, or engaging in activities like sewing or drawing or whatever it is. Do these things. You're going to need those tools to get through this process. So trust the process, and thanks for going this far with us. Take care.